A creepy story came up on my social media where a woman at a supermarket in Toronto was thermally screened upon entry. As it turns out, this particular supermarket in Toronto has the technology to perform thermal imaging on all patrons entering their location. This isn't a simple temperature gun like the one they use at the airport. No, this is much more invasive. At a grocery store. Here today for Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini, and I want to share with you the conversation I had with May Cheung about her experience at Galleria Supermarket in York Mills. I understand that you had a post on social media that highlighted you were being thermal imaged upon entry to a grocery store in Toronto. That's the Galleria Supermarket, is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yes.
And when upon entering Galleria, did you know that your temperature was going to be taken or monitored or recorded by this supermarket?
No, actually, I'll tell you a little bit what happened. So when I went in,
Sure.
I just basically trying to walk in. I was stopped. I saw a table. I didn't even see the TV and the whole device. Then I was told to put on my mask and I said I have a medical condition and I refused to put on my mask. And then he says, "Can I take a temperature?" And then without thinking, I thought, okay, temperature, that's fine. But I wasn't sure how it was going to be taken. Then he told me to go back to the entrance. And that's when I noticed that when he pointed to the monitor that I'm actually being detected. Like my facial recognition, my face is being detected, the temperature automatically. I think it's a thermal device that detected the temperature of my body, and it was recorded on the screen, as you can see on the post. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I saw that, I thought, wow, this is interesting. I've never seen anything like that before. I'm aware of that because I'm from Hong Kong, so I'm very current with what's happening in China. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of all these new tech developing there. Like I thought they never get to Canada for a while, but I was surprised how soon it got here and it became real. Then I asked them, can I take a picture of this? This is interesting. And he just said, that's fine. So I just kind of, initially it was kind of like fun. I just did it. Didn't think about anything at all. It was kind of like, this is neat. That was it.
Mm-hmm. So your initial reaction was thinking, oh, this is kind of cool technology to have. And then can you expand on maybe how you felt as you thought a little bit more about it in terms of privacy concerns or any other concerns you might have had from this point on?
Yes. So I do have an active Facebook page, and one of my passion is sharing about the truth, what is really happening around the world. So then I share the picture with my friends. And you should see the reaction. They went nuts, right? It's like, May, what is this? Like, oh, then they're reacting. It's like, this is happening. This is real. This is not fake. Like, that was me on the picture. And then people start sharing information, sharing articles and about, how dangerous it is. And the next thing is about the privacy. I noticed everybody before me have their picture displayed, as you can see on the
Mm-hmm.
picture, with the temperature, and so they're recording all this information. As you know, it's digital age, and all the information is being collected. So as I say, I was so ignorant, just like a regular person, just didn't think, and then they've been tracked. You hear about all these contract tracing and stuff. It's scary time. I am concerned about the privacy.
Will you continue to shop at this supermarket knowing that they are now potentially recording and taking the thermal imaging of everyone that enters the store?
This is a tough one, right? Like, it is one of my favorite store. So what I'm going to do next time, I'm going to go in and not have my temperature taken. I'm not sure. I'm going to find out more details and see if I can go in with that, bypassing that screen. If there's a way of doing it, tell them to turn it off to go in, and go from there. If it's not, then I might have to just go somewhere else. I mean, there is other store I can get the stuff from
Mm-hmm.
other stores, so it's not really like I have to go. So it's a personal choice issue, and luckily I don't have to go very often. to that store.
That's right.
But what I'm concerned about is these devices are becoming more normalized, right? And I mean, sooner than we think. I mean, if you think about it, when I studied Bluetooth back in 2002, I didn't know what Bluetooth is. Nowadays, every single person has a digital, like, cell phone, a smartphone, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. It is the kind of future that worries me most. Yeah, it's coming faster than we think.
Yeah, and we need people who have that experience in some of these other countries where the rights are being infringed upon more heavily than, for instance, here in our country. But as you said, as someone from Hong Kong, you are recognizing those signs here now. And can you expand on your knowledge there at all, or what you're seeing? What's most
Oh
concerning?
yeah. um, it's kind of like a drama, like a movie, but it's real life happening. Like back in, because I follow the news, I'm from Hong Kong. As you know, there's like a big protest
Mm-hmm.
happening in Hong
Mm-hmm.
Kong since last year, like last June. So I was following it, and I was really closely on a daily basis. Reading all the international coverage of what is happening in Hong Kong. When I think a couple of people, one person got burned all over his body, and one elderly man was dead by he was hit by a brick. Right, so that's when I found out is people are dying. I need to find out what's going on, and I have friends in Hong Kong, so that's when I start kind of following. So then I knew about the virus back in. They were talking about it already at the beginning of December. The
Mm-hmm.
people in Hong Kong knew about it, so I knew
Mm-hmm.
about it, and they were saying, "Oh, this is fake, whatever," right? So I think long story short is I see the whole thing evolve since last beginning of December to when it happening here, when people kind of initially in January didn't take it seriously, to when we're completely locked down in March, and to what's happening, and then and how China opened back up, or so far they contained the virus, and then they opened up, and now people are traveling all over. They are like literally packed. Nobody's wearing masks in China. It's fascinating. Like when you actually spend the time, and there's a lot to it. It's heartbreaking. I mean, it's all
Mm-hmm.
about tyranny. It's all about government tyranny and how you know we are being controlled in some way. So a lot of these things that come into it, and there's just so little we know, and I am concerned. I am concerned. That's why I'm sharing about it. I think the first thing is you need to try to get to know as much as you can. And there are people, uh, more in touch, closer to the information. They are out there. If you
Mm-hmm.
look for it, they are out there. And I think if the more people are aware of what's happening, we can make a change. Right? We can really protect. I think at the end of the day is our freedom, our liberty. People are protesting, and then we need to actually get louder because it's scary. And if we don't, if we slow down, they can just really impose all this on us. Exactly what they do in China. China is
Yeah.
taking the lead to demonstrate what the world's going to look like. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
know what the world's going to look like if we don't speak up in the next 2 3 years, look at China.
Do you want to be subject to thermal imaging before you buy rice? If we truly live in a free and democratic society, we should be able to consent to our personal information being collected and stored, preferably before the intrusion is staring us in the face. And most interestingly, from May's photo, beside the total number of scans, there seems to be a record of alarms for high temperatures. I wanted to know at what temperature threshold would the alarm be sounded, and what was the policy in place with Galleria in the instance where the alarm is triggered. For instance, could a woman suffering a poorly timed hot flash trigger the alarm? And what is the course of action for her unfortunate temperature spike? We know ovulating women see an increase in basal body temperatures. Would that be enough to set off the alarm? So, of course, I reached out to Galleria Supermarket for comment. I wanted to know about temperature thresholds, what protocols would be used if someone set off the alarm, and overall, I was curious as to what their justification was for implementing this measure to monitor patrons' body temperatures. I also wanted to know if this software included facial recognition and whether or not people's faces and temperatures were being collected and, of course, stored. Unfortunately, the supermarket did not respond in time for me to run this story. What happens to the records after the fact? Are they destroyed? And if so, when? Would the supermarket turn them over to the government? As we hear stories globally of increasing government intrusion with evolving contact tracing software and continued privacy infringements, is thermal imaging going to be part of the push for a new normal? With Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. If you're interested in purchasing Rebel News swag, check out our gear at rebelnewsstore.com. That's rebelnewsstore.com.